Welcome to the Orange Flag Podcast. We, like most of you, have opinions about the Autosport Top 50 list. I'm Nicole.
I'm Aries.
I'm Austin, and yeah, we have a lot of opinions about the top 50 list. So let's just get into who we think should have been on the list and wasn't.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't really be me without playing the nationalism card, now would it? Yes, I think, I guess probably Augusto Farfus should have been on the list. Finger Boy. Um, yes, he kind of triumphed in Bathurst and also at the Nürburgring. I know this is a bit controversial. Someone here is going to be hurt by this statement.
No, Kevin was not upset about it, so I'm not going to be upset about it anymore. He was able to be very rational and normal about it, so I'm not going to be upset about it anymore.
Okay, we roll with it then. So, yes, yeah, one of the names that I think should have been at least featured, even if like not in a high position, but you don't win Bathurst and at the Nürburgring by being, a, doing a sloppy job.
Yeah, he's one that I was shocked wasn't on the list. Like, absolutely dumbfounded by the fact that he wasn't on the list. Because yeah, I mean, Bathurst and Nürburgring are massive races, and to win those, it's like, yeah, was the BMW a little OP this year? Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
but still, he still won those races, you know?
I'm just saying, it almost like to me felt like he's being punished for being the guy who got two middle fingers at him, and that's why he couldn't be on the list.
I think maybe that could be why, honestly. Like, because he was kind of in the wrong in both of those incidents, so
not
maybe
even kind of. Was definitely.
They're like, you know what? He is so bad that he had two people flip him off in two different series, so he, in fact, doesn't get to be on the list.
Yeah, just a little side note, I'm gonna call that maneuver that they did this year, the Rolex 24, the BMW move, because I got recommended a random IMSA iRacing reel just yesterday, and they were doing their little esports series thingy, and they were racing in Daytona. I think it was like the final lap. There were two like BMW guys who did the exact same thing on a Porsche 963. I was like, hey, I've seen this before.
They messed up. They're supposed to do it to a Corvette, don't they know?
In my opinion, the biggest GT oversight on this list was Richard Leitz. He won Le Mans, and he won the championship, and he's not on the list.
Yeah.
He's the, either best or second best GT driver of the year. The best GT driver was on the list way at the bottom, but, like, there is no denying that Kelvin van der Linde is the best GT driver of 2025.
Oh, yeah.
I think that Leitz is definitely second, and I could entertain arguments that he is the best GT driver of the year. I could potentially see him being number one, but yeah, just not doing quite as many series. It makes it hard for me to say he is the absolute top GT driver, but I think he's one of the top, and I think for him to not be on the list at all is insane.
100%.
Yeah, well, you just mentioned Kelvin van der Linde, South African, and I feel like there's another guy from South Africa who should have probably been on the list. Making things spicy, the one and only Jordan Pepper, who, won the Spa 24 hours this year with Lamborghini. And also, I feel like we mentioned this on this very podcast at some point. We were like, uh, what's who, what can stop this guy from winning? Because it's like he's winning something every single week. Let's not
Mm-hmm.
forget he was very much so involved in the DTM title fight as well.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I really don't know what. I didn't look because I know they posted what they used to like make this list, like what rankings and what analysis they used. It doesn't make sense. And the first thing that I noticed when I saw this list, like before I got mad at Kevin being 21st on the list, I said, where the heck is James Calato on this list? And we know how I feel about James Calato.
Yeah.
We don't
But,
like
like,
him.
where the heck is James Calato on this list? Like, how do you have a list of the best racing drivers and not include? They did it last year with Andre. How do you not include the WEC Hypercar champions? All three of them should be on this list. And Collado wasn't, and he also did ELMS and IMSA, like, in GT. So he's not like, I guess, kinda not including people if all they did was WEC. Like, if all they did was WEC Hypercar and they did nothing else, I can see an argument possibly for not including them. But, like, I don't know what they were doing with WEC, honestly, on this list. It really feels like they just, like, picked random people. And
Yes.
I said this about Matt and Larry not being on the list. I think they just picked who they thought was the best driver out of the car and meant that to mean the whole car for sports cars. Like, specifically for WEC. Because, they just really, really randomly included people. Like, Kubica is a great example. They included him. They did not include either of his teammates.
Yeah, I think it kind of makes sense when you like what you just mentioned, like, oh, they're just doing whack and you know, pick the probably like what they think is the best one of the three in the car, and well, based on the performances, I have to say I think Kubica was the best of the three, but still, how do you leave a Le Mans overall winner out of your list? Like, what are you on? Especially like when you consider, uh, you know, Phil has Phil Hansen's been his career, even though he's still relatively like very young, he's already accomplished quite a bit. And when you take into account like, yeah, Yufei, like he's essentially, I guess we can probably say this, he's the highest profile Chinese driver right now.
Absolutely.
And
Definitely.
And to not include him also feels a bit like a bit of a travesty. I don't know. Because I don't know what was on their minds and on their stomachs that day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of defense of Ferrari in this list, and shockingly enough, Aries didn't, like, fight to include Ferrari. I think we all three very vehemently agree that these guys were unfairly left off the list.
Yeah. It's just when you're Hypercar champions, Le Mans champions, it just feels naturally like you should be on the list. I will say, in this last week or so, we've seen kind of like if a country kind of has its own award ceremony, that's kind of been happening. So the British drivers had theirs with BRDC. So Phil Hansen got 2 awards. Like, he literally got the ACO plate, which is the highest placed finishing British driver at Le Mans, and then the Fairfield Trophy for outstanding performance by one of their members. So at least he's being recognized by, like, his peers and his
Screw
country.
James Colato, I guess. Like, he's gotten the entirety of England has forgotten James Colato is British, apparently, because, like, he has not gotten, again, like, you know it's bad if I'm out here defending James Colato.
Yeah.
But, like,
The world.
I'm sorry.
The world
Is
talked
he
about.
not getting any recognition?
Yeah. That was just like, for me, I was like, well, at least Phil Hansen got recognized by his peers.
Yes.
Yeah, his people. Oh yeah, and we were just talking about hypercar champions being left out of the list. Where is Gio? Where is Antonio Giovinazzi as well? Like, you have 2 Italians in that car. One of them is on the list. One of them is not on the list. Winning the title for an Italian team with an Italian car from an Italian manufacturer. Make it make sense.
And again, I will say that they picked the strongest driver out of the car. I really, really do think that that's what they ended up doing, was just, okay, we can't include everybody from all of these WEC cars. Let's just pick who we think was the best driver and include him.
Yeah.
And I think that's stupid. It angers me.
I mean, of my personal opinion, of course, of the 83, as much as I like Phil and Yifei, I feel like the 83 kind of makes sense because Kubica.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Kubica's
100%.
the strongest driver far and away.
Yeah.
But in the 51, though, like, I'm sort of puzzled. Like, at some point, it didn't feel like it feels like, obviously, we all know how the 3 of us, yes, even I, feel about Pierre Guidi sometimes. Like, unnecessary levels of head loss, perhaps. But
I said it to Kevin
yes,
that I actually think he has a similar driving style to Kevin, and I've said this before. I think that if Alessandro Pierguidi was with a different team, I would like him. Like,
He's literally, like, the kind of driver you like. So.
He's 100% the kind of driver I like. But it's just ridiculous that he's the only one that's getting recognition, and where he was on the list, too. Like, there's just not a ton of respect for sports cars on this list, honestly. Where is the list? I screenshotted it.
yeah,
Like, 40th.
yeah.
Pierguidi
40th.
was 40th. I'm sorry. Alessandro Pierguidi was better than the 40th best driver this year. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, no. Which we'll get into. I don't know, dude. Like, it's just nothing.
I guess Macau was really carrying some weight for Fuoco because he's 33rd.
Yeah. Like, I was gonna say, what separates him? And I'm like, Macau?
And then I've determined that if you get Hyperpole, no matter how legitimately, at Le Mans, you will be 14th on the list, because that's where Kevin was last year.
I will say that's the determination I came with for.
I'm so glad he didn't call me out on that when we had him on.
I will say,
like, with diagrams and like, here's how I was not over track limits. Kevin, please do not show up at a race with a diagram of how you were not over track limits. I don't care. I have had people point this out to me. You were over track limits.
I will say that was what I kind of came to for the determination of 35th on the list, because last year it was Matt and this year it was Lungard, and I was like, I guess I'm just destined to like whoever is 35th. Which, speaking of Matt Campbell, he was not on the list, which I'm gonna argue the next two drivers we're going to speak about, if you look at overall, are kind of the two I would say are the stronger of the Porsche guys. But if we're talking about recognition, at least from your countries, he did get Motorsport Australia's gold star, so at least they recognized him for that. The funniest thing, though, to me is if you look at Matt's past rankings, somehow I would argue his worst year in the 963, which was the first year in the 963, they ranked him as his best year. Because he then went down 10 places last year, and now he's not on the list. In the year that he, got his first overall race win and became a champion and was on the Le Mans podium. So, arguably, stats-wise, his best season in the car, and it's the one year he's not in the rankings.
Yeah. And then I am absolutely puzzled as to how Laurens Vanthoor is not on this list. He was, in my opinion, the best of the PPM drivers. He had the best all-around season. Not necessarily that he was the best driver in any car he was in, but his overall season, when you put it all together, and you put everyone's overall season all together, he honestly destroyed everyone else. In the 4 races where they went head-to-head, he beat Kevin in all 4 of them. In Daytona, Sebring, and the 2 NLS rounds, he beat Kevin in all 4 of them. And Kevin was 21st on the list, and Larry wasn't on the list at all. And then in literally everything else, with the exception of the Nürburgring 24 Hours, which, Larry didn't do, he equaled Kevin because they were in the same car. So, all of the WEC results, there was no, oh, he didn't do a race. They have the exact same WEC results. And Kevin didn't qualify great this year. There were no polls to be oh, look at how great he was at qualifying. His best qualifying was 4th, which ended up being a 3rd place start. That was at Coda. So, it's not like Kevin had some amazing year in qualifying. And then in Suzuka, they were again in the same car and were pretty equal aside from Larry's early head loss. I do not understand Kevin being 21st on the list and Larry not being on the list at all. It's crazy to me, and honestly, the IMSA results on their own outweigh the fact that he crashed out of Nürburgring 24-hour qualifying.
100%.
That's... I don't get it, and I do think that Larry had the best season of any of the PPM drivers, and he easily should have been top 10 on this list.
Yeah. I think, for me, if you're doing a 1, 2, 3 of the PPM guys, it's Larry, then it's Matt, and then it's Kevin. That's, in my opinion, the way you're ranking those 3 of, their consistent results over the year. You can, though, add Larry again to the list of guys on the list who at least were recognized by their country, because...
Which I'm sure Larry was so excited to be recognized by Belgium.
Yes, because RACB made him Belgium Driver of the Year, so, at least you have that, I guess.
And then rounding out our Porsche drivers that deserve to be on this list but aren't, Pascal Wehrlein absolutely was one of the top Formula E drivers this year. And nothing against Taylor Barnard or Dan Ticktum, but what the heck are they doing ahead of Pascal or like honestly on the list at all? It just Pascal absolutely was either the second or third best Formula E driver this year. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Something common sense thrown out the window.
Yeah, no, this entire list is just completely lacking common sense. It's insane.
Yeah. No brain cells, I feel like, were used for this list, which
No.
Now we're gonna go supercars route, because they did include supercars drivers on the list, so then for me it felt like, okay, of the ones they included, there were some kind of obvious ones I feel like they left out. One's Matt Payne, who I would argue was the third best driver of the season, and Supercars does agree with me because they made their own rankings and he's third on their rankings. He also won the Bathurst 1000. So, like, you win the largest race of the championship, you know? And then also, Chaz Mostert, literally the champion, was missing from the list too. And considering they, in their list, basically include the champion for almost every other series, and then for Supercars, the drivers they picked, they did not pick the champion. Choices were made, and I was like, the ones you're leaving out are very interesting choices.
Yeah, and then, we also, there were really, it's kind of, we touched on it already, ones that just don't make sense to be on the list at all, or to be where they are on the list. Like I already mentioned Dan Ticktum and Taylor Barnard. Dan has no reason to be on the list. There are better FE drivers. Like, he wasn't bad, but like, I'm sorry, he was not top 3 in FE. He was not top 4 in FE. You could maybe argue he was top 5. Autosport's a British publication, so there's obvious bias.
Yes.
And
really? Are we surprised?
Apparently, except for when it comes to sports cars, because, again, like I said, James Calato was not on the list. Everyone is forgetting James Calato is British. The entire country is forgetting James Calato is British. Autosport is forgetting James Calato is British. Has James Calato forgotten he is British? Does he think he's something else? I don't know.
Maybe he thinks he's Italian.
I'm very worked up about the James Calato thing, because he should have been on the list. But, yeah, Dan Ticktum had no business being on the list. Taylor Barnard, I don't know. Not a top 3 FE driver. Very exciting rookie, but not a top 3 FE driver. Like, being a really cool, fun, exciting rookie doesn't mean you're one of the top 50 drivers in the world. I'm sorry, he's not.
I think part of the reason Taylor Barnard was on this list, when you look at how they included other people, when it was like, oh, you had like one good race, or you made this really cool stat. It's because he made cool stats as like, you broke this record for a rookie. That's the vibe it gave, was like, oh, you made some rookie stats, and you're British. Welcome to the list.
People just, everybody got to include their favorite random driver, and Taylor Barnard is someone's favorite random driver. Because Pierre Gasly is obviously someone's favorite random driver. What is he doing on the list? How is he the second French person on the list? I will say, I don't think anybody in the world is arguing with who the number 1 French person on the list is. Seb Ogier is unreal. Absolutely should have been the number 1 French person on the list. But where was Gasly? 12th. What did Pierre Gasly do to be the 12th best driver in the world? Please explain this to me. He didn't even get a top 5 all season. Like, something did better than Colapinto, or something outdrove the car. I'm sorry. I don't think that outdriving the car is an objective enough thing. I'm gonna say Kevin Estre outdrove the car, so he should be number 1 on the list. Like, what? Like, that's how unobjective outdrove the car is. It's stupid.
Also, I'm sorry. Being better than Franco is not really that hard.
You read my mind right now. Like I was gonna say that. I was
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. All that the kid does a lot of is crashing.
He's just not, like,
It's not that
he's
impressive.
not some standard of, oh my gosh, look, like, I could get it if for, like, some crazy reason Lewis went to Alpine this year and Pierre beat him as handily as he beat Franco. I would say, you know what, yeah, maybe Pierre deserves to be on the top 50 list. Lewis doesn't deserve to be on the top 50 list. He just dropped his worst season of his career. He seemed like he was miserable every single race. I don't think he likes racing in Formula One anymore, but wow, would you look at that? He's on the top 50 list. You know why? Because he's British.
I was gonna say, if there isn't one driver on this list where the British bias was so obvious, it was Lewis Hamilton. Because he had no reason at all to be on this list. Dude did nothing to deserve it.
This year has been appalling. Like it feels like a completely different person. If you told me, oh yeah, these are Lewis Hamilton's results and his best performances and his worst performances for 2025, I was gonna be like, are you sure you telling me this is him? Because it feels
not a fan, and it was sad to watch.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what Denny Hamlin's doing on the list. I guess he got on the list for something that had nothing to do with driving a race car, which is taking the fight to NASCAR in court. Like, that's awesome. Nothing to do with his driving.
No. Also, for me, it felt like how everyone there were like two split sides on the internet when it came to the NASCAR playoffs of like, oh, Denny Hamlin really deserved this, despite, the stats showing Denny Hamlin did not. And then the people that were like, Denny Hamlin did not deserve this. It felt like we really figured out what side of the debate Autosport is on, and they very much so, it seems like, were Team Denny Hamlin when it came to the playoffs, because there was no reason for Denny to be on this list. Unless you were one of those people.
And, like, honestly, I don't know that any of the NASCAR guys had any business being anywhere near where they were on the list. I think that, where was Byron? Byron was 20th. I'm sorry. You cannot convince me in any universe that William Byron is a better driver than the 23rd, 22nd, and 21st drivers, which are Pato O'Ward, Felipe Nasser, and Kevin Estre. I'm sorry. I am a big fan of William Byron's, but you cannot convince me he is a better driver than those three.
Mine is, I feel like, William Byron and even Brock Feeney should be closer on the list. Like, Brock is 25th.
Yeah.
So, that's more where those two should be closer than they are on the list.
William should be in the 25 to 30 range.
Yeah.
I think that I'd be okay possibly with Kyle being in that 25 to 30 range, and then William being more towards, the late end of the 25 to 30. If Kyle was 25th and William was 30th, I think that's probably a little better. And I get it, Kyle does his dirt stuff as well.
Yes.
I don't think that boosts him up to 15.
No. Also, for Kyle, despite the fact that stats-wise he was the deserving championship winner, and he won the championship, realistically, if you look at this season, it was not his best season. Yeah. Kyle Larson had a lot of crashes, which is not really like Kyle Larson to have as many crashes as he did this year. So this didn't even feel like Kyle Larson's best season for him to be all the way up in the top 15 drivers.
Yeah. And then, bouncing back to F1, Alex Albon had no business being on this list.
No.
Carlos Sainz, you know what? I am okay with him being on this list, but he should have been a lot lower than he was. He was 38th. I think he could have been in like the Lewis Hamilton, Ollie Behrman range, which is 47th, 48th. I think he was a top 50 driver. I don't think that he was outstanding. Again, I think it's one of those I think he outdrove his car situations, which, like, yes, he outdrove his teammate for half the season, but his teammate also outdrove him for half the season. His highs were just high. You know? Podiums and sprint podiums do deserve a spot on the list. I don't know that it's outdriving the car, but the Williams isn't a phenomenal car. You know, I'll say that. It's not something that we expected people to be getting podiums in.
Mine is also, especially with Alex in particular, yeah, they did both flip-flop back and forth of, like, who was better. But when you've been in the car longer and the guy who just went into the car is the one getting podiums and sprint podiums, I'm sorry, but if your teammate is able to do that in the first year in that car, you shouldn't be on this list if you still aren't able to be at that level. In a car you've been in for years now, and you still haven't gotten a podium.
Yeah, and Sainz was only one position above Albon, too. Like, they're really trying to convince us that Sainz was the 38th best driver, and Albon was the 39th best driver. Again, both ahead of Alessandro Pierguidi, who is a better driver than both of them. Like, the episode is called Matt and Larry Were Robbed, but it really maybe should have been called Nicole Defends Ferrari.
Is that snowflakes I see coming out of my falling down on my window in summer?
I was about to say, is that a polar bear in Arlington, Texas?
That's an IndyCar.
I have something that I really think a lot of racing fans lack the ability to do, which is acknowledge when drivers I don't like are good drivers. Like, I don't like Lando Norris. He is a good driver. I don't like James Collado. He is a good driver. And there are people that I really like that aren't doing great. I will support Fernando Alonso if he comes in 22nd in every race next year. I will still buy a Fernando Alonso hat. I will still support him. You know? Like, that's just... But I can admit when people aren't doing well.
It's not hard to be objective and, like, look at literal
It apparently
facts.
is really hard to be objective based on everybody else's lists that they've done since this list came out. It is apparently very hard to be objective. I'm sorry, in no universe is Kevin Estre the number one driver of this season. So if you have him as your number one driver of 2025 on your list, like I've seen people do online, your list is wrong. Sorry, Kevin. You didn't have the greatest season in the history of your driving career.
It's just fact.
Like, and that blew people away too, that I wasn't out here saying that it was a travesty that Kevin wasn't first. What did Kevin do to deserve to be first? Like, if we're going off drivers that were the coolest to me and let me hold their trophy, then yes, Kevin gets to be first. If we're going off drivers that were really cool and came on the podcast, then yes, Kevin gets to be first. If we're going off who had the best season behind the wheel of a race car, I'm sorry, but that's just not reality. And, like, that doesn't mean that I don't still support him. like I said, like about Alonso. Like if Alonso comes in last, I'm still supporting him. If Kevin doesn't have a good season, I'm still supporting him. But you can separate your support for a driver from an objective ranking of how good they did in the season.
I mean, yeah, like it's very well known. Like I am a huge, in the IMSA PPM side of things, I am now Nicole. I do support this guy a lot.
Where did you get a driver card?
Get friends who mail you stuff.
Nice.
I was just like, wait a minute.
I've been itching to use this since you pressed record. You
I was
don't
just like, am I seeing what I'm seeing?
Yes, you are.
Now I need to find.
Overdoing this, aren't we?
My stack of
Your
PPM
stack.
driver cards.
I have a single one, but hey, it's
Look.
better.
I was gonna say
There he
the
is.
stat.
It's a start.
There.
It's a start.
Well, this is my WEC stack, so I do not have Nasser.
Well,
Here he is again. No, I've got. I think the it's over here somewhere in my stack.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
the cheeky chop. Like, I know I derailed the conversation again. I've been doing that a lot lately. But yes,
Hey.
like I've been, everybody knows I am an Nasser fan for obvious reasons. But like he had a good start to the season. Maybe if that had been, if he had kept that up throughout the whole year, then maybe I would be here saying, oh, maybe he shouldn't have been 22nd on the list. Maybe he should have been higher on the list. But then when you take into account how his season went after Watkins Glen or something, then I would be
Yeah.
like, ugh. Felipe, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, that was a
Messy.
bad collapse.
Yeah. I was gonna say, then from that argument, Jam finally made the list as 42nd. Would I argue maybe he should be higher than 42nd? Yes. Would I say Jam deserves to be first? No.
My
Not at
problem
all.
with Jam on the list is the lack of, like, compared to where I think other people potentially should be, is the lack of performance in other series.
Yes.
Matt came in second at Le Mans. Matt won a race in WEC.
Which I think is why no one's surprised when the list came out. The first thing I said was, where's Matt? More than being
Somehow
like...
the first thing I said is, where's James Collado?
Mine was, where's Matt? Because...
Not even why is Kevin 21st? Where is James Collado?
I literally went, oh, yay! Jam's on the list. Wait a minute. Where's Matt? Because arguably, I'm sorry, of the two of them, Matt had the better overall season in the sense that he does have the WEC results to boost him.
Charles Leclerc
Needs to be way lower.
Yeah. I have no idea what he did. Again, this is probably some of that crap of outdriving the car, which, again, I don't know what I think that means. If we're talking about outdriving the car, I'm still putting Kevin number one. Someone explain to me. I genuinely mean this. Somebody explain to me what Charles Leclerc did to be considered a top 5 driver across all racing series this year.
Mine is... he's not even in my top 5 F1 drivers.
No.
So...
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Just saying.
Yeah, and then kind of in the same thing, like George Russell, what is he doing second? He's a top 3 F1 driver, but he is not the second best driver overall of the year. Like, insanity.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, looking at these lists, if your list doesn't start with Alex Palou or Max Verstappen, I really am kind of writing your list off as too fanish to begin with. At least this one starts with Max Verstappen. But, like, the top 5 on this list makes no sense. And for 3 of the top 5 drivers of the year to be F1 drivers is, we know it. Autosport's an F1 bias publication. But
Yeah.
that it's just insanity. Who else? Isaac Hadjar, I think he can be on the list. I think as a rookie, he performed really well. I don't think anybody expected him to get a podium. So, yeah, I think he can be on the list, but I think he can be like where Ollie Behrman is on the list.
Yeah.
Why? Why exactly is he, like, what did he do to be considered the 13th best driver?
Yeah,
I can't even think of anything.
Yeah, it feels like
the podium.
That's
the podium is it.
But that's not enough to be in that spot.
No.
It feels like we keep coming back to the whole, we're driving the car / outperforming teammates / I don't know, one-off good result. It feels like most of the people who were about like, WTF are you doing on this list? Why are you so high? It always comes down to one of these 3 factors. It's never something outlandish or something, oh yes, this person like did something. Wow. We can say
there's not an argument to be made. Like, if I wanted to say I think that Kevin should have been 15th on the list, I think everyone would be able to sit there and say, yeah, I can see why those arguments are valid and he should be 15th on the list. Like, if I want to say that Larry should be 15th on the list, again, people are, yeah, I can see why those arguments are valid and he should be 15th on the list. I don't know that anybody can give me arguments for why Isaac Hadjar should be 13th on the list. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And then last kind of one on our list of guys who probably shouldn't be on the list, Will Brown. I'm just gonna say, okay, if we're excluding guys from the list because apparently they get too many middle fingers, we should be excluding a driver who I feel like at some point everyone in Supercars was just mad at him.
Yeah.
But also, Supercars didn't even put them in their top 5 of their drivers this season. So,
say, I can at least make a really bad argument as to why he should be on the list, and that he had more influence in the outcome of the championship than some of these other guys that are included on the list.
Yeah, which is a reason why a lot of people are mad.
Does that make him one of the best drivers? No, but if we're talking influence over the season...
Unfortunately. I'm just saying, if there's excluding guys for getting multiple middle fingers, Will Brown should be getting the same treatment for the fact everyone was pissed off with him at some point this season, so... yeah.
And then, like, guys that I didn't specifically include, but it's like, what are you doing here? Any of the feeder series guys?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, there's no reason for... They're not. They just objectively are not the best drivers of the year.
And also...
there's probably some kid in MX5 that is, like, the best driver of the year if you put them all in a go-kart or you put them all in a Ford Focus. But, like, how are we picking and choosing? You know?
Yeah. It's also
It-
last year Bortoletto was on the top 50 list, but at least like Bortoletto was like a very impressive like feeder series result. This year
Yeah.
with feeder series, it wasn't even like somebody ran away like crazy season to be like, sure, I
What
can
is
see why
Luke
he's
Browning doing on this list other than
there.
being British?
Yes. It's just the guys who are on it where they're at doesn't make sense, and then yeah, you have like championship guys in it. I only would get the championships guys being on it if it was like a situation of they ran away with it from the entire year and were
And,
like
like,
very very low on the list.
Like,
sorry, Aries, but Rafa Kamara has no business being on this list.
yeah,
I know
like
he's your
we
countryman, but
we were just
no business being on a top 50 list.
exactly like we're just talking about, feeder series. It's still people who are, up and coming. How can you be con up? How can you be eligible for this kind of discussion if you're still in a feeder series? Like same argument with like Luke Browning. I am also a fan of it. I am also a fan of his. But
Mm-hmm.
when I saw his name on the list, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Are you really gonna sit here and tell me, Autosport, that Ferrari, the F2 kid, is a better driver than Antonio Fuoco? Are you kidding me?
Apparently.
Like, are you kidding me? Again, Nicole defends Ferrari sports car drivers. Like, but the disrespect is outrageous. Like, I'm sorry, those guys ran the season. Ferrari in WEC. Like, the season was over before Le Mans. There is no reason, honestly, that all 9 of them should not be on this list.
Yeah, like I feel like if they
You're
should
like,
have
I agree. As a Ferrari fan, I agree.
Agree. that's
what
Aries.
what I was gonna say, like I feel like obviously I agree, but I feel like if if obviously if there was not so much, I don't know, open wheel F1 feeder series like bias, or I don't know, just this what we said about, oh, there's plenty of F1 guys in here, like what in the world are they doing in here? Uh, we would have probably had a lot more sports car drivers in being featured in this wicked top 50, and not
Yeah.
just Ferrari guys, like the Porsche guys you mentioned, like, and people from other manufacturers as well.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. It feels like they threw Alex Lynn on there because of the Le Mans poll, and that's it. And they were like, yep, we need to throw this guy on here. We're not going to look at anyone else.
It
Yeah.
also
Alex
Here we go.
helps where he's from.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Alex gets on this list because of his pole at Le Mans. And then, oh, Caddy got their win and you were part of that. And like you've had some good qualifying results. And you're
Earl
British.
Bamber
Yeah.
did 2 series, full season, got 2 wins in IMSA, got very good results in WEC. Yes, didn't win, didn't get on pole, but had a stronger, the same way I think about Larry having a stronger season than Kevin. He had a stronger overall combined racing record than Alex, because you need to take IMSA into account, and he won multiple races in IMSA, and he's nowhere on the list.
It's just, you can see the biases. It's very flat out honest.
Absolutely.
Which, all I'm going to say is, if you want a more accurate ranking of the top 50, might I give you Auto Hebdo? It's much more accurate.
It's weird, though.
It's very weird because I'm going to say this, okay? Sometimes they group drivers together. Sometimes,
Weirdly.
sometimes they don't. It's very odd.
Kevin's himself.
Yes, it's very odd when they do group certain drivers together because, for example, here's my examples, okay? Larry, Nasser, and Tandy were all grouped together at 45. Kevin, I think, was like 14.
Kevin was 14th.
Matt and Jam were grouped together at 11. I'm
okay with Matt being 11th and Kevin being 14th, but Larry needs to be ungrouped from Nasser and Tandy and be like 8th.
Yeah, so here's mine. Larry, for no reason, should be grouped with Nasser and Tandy, okay? I get...
Only one Daytona with...
Yes, I'm saying, though, I get why Nasser and Tandy are grouped together, right? You know, they've done basically... Well, literally. They did everything together, okay? Larry's there because Daytona Sebring, but okay. Dude accomplished more. Away from Nasser and Tandy. A lot more.
Away from Nasser and Tandy. He won in a GT car. He won in a GT car in another country. He won in this country in a different LMDH. I mean, same car, but like different series. I'm sorry, again, the disrespect that Laurens Vanthoor is getting for no reason whatsoever. And I said online, and people were laughing about it, like, I'm defending everybody except Kevin Estra because honestly, he's semi-fairly ranked on all of these lists.
Yes.
He's on the list, so I can't complain. But, like, there are so many people that had comparable or, in some cases, better seasons that were just completely overlooked for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. And then Matt and Jam. I get why they're grouped together, okay? They won an IMSA championship together, okay?
Again,
I'm going to say this.
I don't get why they're grouped together.
I get why they did it. I don't get it, though, because... Once again, they both did WEC. Separate cars, okay?
One of them won a race.
Matt's the only one who won a race. And had a Le Mans podium. And Jam did more WEC races than Matt. Yeah, so I don't think they should be grouped together. Also, realistically, if we're going to have to group the Porsche guys together, Larry, instead of being grouped with Nasser and Tandy, should have been at least grouped with Kevin.
Right, yes, I could respect 14th on the list being Larry and Kevin. We had a lot of fun before we remembered that Estor was a thing, trying to figure out a combined name for Larry and Kevin, such as Larvin.
What?
They were all bad. They were all really bad, and then we were like, they literally have one. Why are we trying to come up with other ones that are all bad?
Like Larvin.
Larvin's terrible. Please don't use it.
I think I'm gonna call them Larvin.
I kind of want to make a shirt that just says Larvin.
Larvin.
Larvin is the new thing.
I want to update the shirts and it's Larvin and Matt.
Sorry, Kevin and Larry. You are Larvin now?
I'm sorry, but it had to be done. I don't know why we couldn't think of, the actual name.
I don't know why we couldn't either, and we came up with Larvin.
Like, it's like the mark was right here, and you guys went, wait.
Yeah.
Larvin is fantastic.
It's
Larvin.
great.
Larvin for the win.
It's time to talk about some Bathurst lineups, everyone. Which, no shocker, I would bring this up.
Lauren Heinrich.
It's driving for Earl Bamber Motorsports.
Nice. So this is the reaction. This is the collective reaction. No.
Okay,
We're not.
so Lauren Heinrich is driving for Earl Bamber Motorsports.
Porsche Works driver, Lauren Heinrich.
Yes, with Ricardo Feller and Klaus Bachler. I will say this. Earl Bamber Motorsports is coming back for the first time in a bit, to try to hopefully get back to what they did in 2019 when they won. Which is why, if you had asked me who would be in the lineup for EBM's return, probably wouldn't have been this lineup. Probably would have been someone else. I wonder who, but he might, perhaps be taken by another car. I will say, EBM made their announcement first, and every photo for their announcement that they used was the 2019 car. And then they just put the drivers' names of their current lineup, so it's like photos of Dennis.
Different people. 3 different people that are not Klaus, Lauren, or Ricardo.
Yeah. And Matt Campbell, obviously, was in those photos. And so I feel like Absolute saw that and was like, we have to make our announcement now so that people don't get confused. Because Absolute then dropped their lineup quickly afterwards, which is Matt Campbell, Alessio Piccarello, and Bastian Boos. So basically, Matt and Alessio are coming back as teammates, and instead of Guven, you have Bastian. Also, this is basically the Spa 24 car, and instead you have Alessio instead of Jam, which means it is Kangaroo.
Jam doesn't drive Porsches anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately. But it is this, okay, right? It's Kangaroo Bus, and instead of a baguette, you do have another bread substitute in Belgian waffle.
Clever.
Nice.
I like
See what
it.
I did there? See what I did there? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Also, though, if you want to go back to Spa as well, you have the family lineup of Matt and his child Bastian, and now instead of, the other father figure of Jam, it's now cool uncle of Alessio, because we determined Alessio gives cool uncle vibes.
Yes. And I did declare my support, assuming that Kevin does not announce a shock last minute Bathurst entry for the EBM car. Lauren knows his spot in the ranking. We are aware of this already. But, yes, if Kevin isn't in the race, then Lauren absolutely is my number 1 driver in this race. No doubt.
Shocker. We didn't know that.
I really liked it a lot better when they were in 2, separate series and separate classes, so I didn't need to justify why I'm not supporting Lauren all the time. I like the fact that the 2 of them know that I support the other one. I have had full-on conversations with both of them about how I support the other one, so...
I was gonna say...
Kevin and Lauren are just kinda... both my number 1 driver, except Kevin better beat Lauren in the 3 races that they both do together in IMSA.
Matt Campbell is gonna not be, surprised at all that you aren't supporting him, considering he's been there.
I did kick him out of the picture, yes.
But you declared Lauren and Kevin as your drivers and kicked him out of the photo. So I don't think he's going to be surprised. I will say Absolute did put 3 of, when it comes to the Porsche drivers I really like together in a car. So even if Matt wasn't in this car, I still probably would have supported this car. Obviously, Matt being in the car, though, makes me support no matter what. Also, Skippy. We're going to get Skippy back, and it's kind of hard not to support Skippy. It's a great livery, okay?
Yes, Skippy is cool.
It's very on brand, obviously.
Exactly. I will say, though, they do have competition this year from BMW that has the car with animals on it too, and it changes.
No. We are not supporting BMW.
No, but I'm
I
saying
am.
we do have multiple cars with cool animals on them.
No. We support Lauren Heinrich and only Lauren Heinrich.
No.
Yes, that is exactly what we do.
No, we support
One-
Matt Campbell and only Matt Campbell, but also Bastian and Alessio. So basically, absolute.
One glance at the entry list, and I don't need to declare who I will be backing for this race. You look at the entry list, and you know who. Oh yeah, this is the car Aries will be cheering on. You know it's gonna be the 46 BMW because of obvious reasons.
You're a huge Valentino Rossi fan.
Yeah.
Italy, yes, I am. I am Italian.
Yes. Definitely.
Defo.
We started with Aries nationalism and we're ending with Aries nationalism.
Hey, it's a circle. We've done this before. It's a full circle.
Yes.
Instead of the circle of life, though, it's the circle of Aries nationalism.
It's the blue circle on my flag.
It's the blue circle on your flag. Alrighty. On that bombshell, thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod. Nicole is at Nicole on Racing. Austin is at Hendrik Claren. And Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow.
Stay circular. I mean, stay orange.